Hello and welcome to City Beat. We are your central source of news and information for the city of Rocky Mount. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and as you can see, we're out of the studio this morning. We're out and about the Imperial Center for the Arts and Sciences, actually the Children's Museum and Science Center inside the Imperial Center, in front of the latest exhibit, Backyard Adventures. And standing here with me today, I've got Lee White, Curator of Education.
Yes.
Okay, for the museum, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about this relatively new exhibit because your official grand opening was during First Friday in February.
Yes.
Yeah, and so how long will this exhibit be with us this time?
This one's going to be here till May 8th, so we have a little more time with it, but it's definitely one folks need to come out and check out before it leaves.
Oh, that sounds really good. So what should folks want to see when they come here? What will they experience with Backyard Adventures?
Well, there's a lot of fun things for all ages. This is really an exhibit where your preschooler right on up through your adult is going to have a good time and have things to do. This one's a lot of fun.
Oh, and that's what I love about your exhibits because it's something for the entire family.
Definitely.
It really is.
Yes.
So I had a chance to take a look at some things during First Friday in February. Tell me a little bit more about the exhibit Backyard Adventures and why you all decided to bring it here in the city of Rocky Mount.
Well, Backyard Adventures is a great look at the science that's right in your backyard. So many times people think science is just something that happens in a laboratory somewhere, but science is around us everywhere, and this shows us some of the things that you can find in your own backyard, gives you opportunities to maybe go home and explore a little bit. There's also some components to it that bring in some fitness, and hopefully we'll get people, just get them outside.
And that sounds like fun because science can be intimidating to some folks.
It can be, yes.
Yeah, one thing I love about your exhibits, not just science, but you always infuse the STEM subjects, you know, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. How do you do that where people don't realize that they're really learning and they're having fun at the same time?
I think it all comes down to the exhibit design and really just making it something that's hands-on and fun for anyone to do. So something that really that just kind of gets them thinking about things in a different way and gets them something really tangible to touch and feel and do.
And how has the turnout been so far? What type of feedback have you gotten about the exhibit?
It's been great feedback. We've had a lot of positive response from all of our visitors, our families that come visit us, and school groups have really enjoyed this too. A lot for them to do.
All right. So what's the company that's bringing this exhibit here?
Well, the traveling exhibit company is called Imagine Exhibits, but this exhibit was actually designed by SciTech, which is a museum in Perth, Australia. So as you go through the exhibit, you'll see a few things, or you know, a voiceover or something will have that Australian accent to it. So that kind of adds a little something special to it, international.
That's interesting. How do you all find out about these different exhibits?
There's several traveling exhibit companies that just send exhibits all over the country or all over the world, and you hook in with them and see what they have coming through and what's available.
Wow. So there's so much here to choose from, to see, especially, you know, maybe some folks have seen this exhibit, so much to explore, and you want them, encourage them to return over and over again, because you always have an opportunity to see something new and learn something different. But Lee, would you show me maybe 2 to 3 parts of this exhibit that are very interesting, because I don't want to give it all away.
Sure, no, we don't want to, but yeah, I'd love to show you around.
Okay, come on, follow us. Okay, so we're here at one part of the exhibit, Backyard Adventures. Lee White's still with me. This one you said is interesting, called Digging in the Dirt.
Yes, Digging in the Dirt. It's a tangible landscape. So we use this rubberized material, and you can build mountains or mountain ranges or rivers, and our projection system will show you your elevations, and as you get higher and higher, it's just like a topographic map. We'll start adding in land. Our lower areas are ocean areas. We have a little lake over here in an indention.
Okay.
So we can build our own topographic map.
Wow, and the projector gives it that feel.
Yes.
You know, and we were talking earlier, what age group is this for? But you know what, it feels like it could be for any age group because I'm just digging in the same.
Yes, and that's what we've really seen is it's everyone. The children, small children, preschoolers love to come up here and play, but I see just as many adults coming up here and building a mountain or a mountain range, or it's almost addictive to play with it. It
really is, and you all really need to feel this because it has a good feel to it.
It does. It's a rubber substrate that's been ground up and just works with the projection system, and and builds a mountain range.
And you used a really good word earlier. You said this is really therapeutic for some adults. And it is, because I could not stop digging in this dirt. It feels really good. So thank you for showing us. This is one portion of Backyard Adventures. And what else are you going to show us?
Well, part of this exhibit also is a little mini golf. So would you like to play some golf?
Yes, I would.
All right.
All right. So now we're at the mini golf section of Backyard Adventures. That's how Lee White describes it to us. Tell us a little bit about this section of the exhibit.
This is kind of like a miniaturized miniature golf course. So there's different things that you have to move through and around to get to the end. And we also have some special features in it that help move the ball through the course.
Okay, and I told Lee I really want to experiment with this, although I've never even played miniature golf, but we're going to see how it goes. So where we are now, how does this work?
When you hit your ball into the hole on this hole, there's an air system that's going to shoot it up into this little box, and it's going to come out one of the two sides. And if it comes out to the right, we're going to go down into a foosball table, and we're going to play foosball with our mini golf also.
Okay, so for those who don't know what foosball is, like me, tell us a little bit more about that.
It's kind of like a soccer game on a table. So you have these little blocks that represent the soccer players, and as you turn them, they're supposed to kick the ball across the field.
Okay. How does science play into this?
There's a lot of science in golf with the angles, so a lot of math and science. We have the different angles of how you're going to hit the ball, your velocity, your force and acceleration, how hard you need to hit the ball. So a lot of physics to golf.
So maybe you can tell me how I'm supposed to angle this. Is this at a good angle, you think?
You might want to hit it a little more to the other way. That's
this way.
That way. Open up. That's called opening the golf club. So open the club head a little bit and see if you can get it up there.
So I've opened the golf head.
Opened the golf head. A really good try.
I'm sure you all at home can do so much better, but this is fun. It's really interesting. Backyard Adventures. And Lee, what else is going on here at the Imperial Center? Some new happenings.
Well, we do have a new planetarium show called Incoming, which is all about comets, meteorites, meteors, that kind of thing that could be incoming towards Earth. So a really fun show, interesting about what's out there in space.
So we encourage you to come out to the Children's Museum and Science Center. The Imperial Center is actually open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. And it's actually free admission for Rocky Mount residents on Sundays as well. So we encourage you to come out and experience Backyard Adventures.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back with more right here on City Beat.
Last year, farmers in Nash and Edgecombe counties raised $420 million from selling crops and livestock. Agriculture continues to be of growing importance in the Twin Counties.
Hello and welcome back to City Beat. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and a special thanks to Lee White for joining us on the show a little earlier to talk about the new exhibit in the Children's Museum called Backyard Adventures. And we've stepped across the hall. We're now on the second floor of the Maria V. Howard Art Center to talk about their latest exhibits as well. And joining me today is Allison Wiedrich.
Thank you so much for coming to the Art Center today, Tamika.
Thank you, and thank you for being on our show, City Beat. Tell me your position one more time.
I'm the art curator of the Art Center in the Imperial Center.
All right, and we're standing in front of three exhibits that I've heard a little bit about. Woodland Indian Journey, Handcrafted, and 4 Ways with Wood. So tell me a little bit about these exhibits behind us today.
Well, I'll start with the exhibit that we're standing right in front of. This is 4 Ways with Wood. It includes 4 North Carolina artists, all from the Raleigh-Durham area. M.O. Smith, Graham Allman, Anthony Ulinski, and O'Neill Jones, and they all do different types of woodwork. So 2 of them do furniture and 2 of them do sculpture work.
Okay.
And so we sort of focus on process with this exhibit, and you can, as you're going through the exhibit, you can see early sketches, you can see early models, so you see the process that an artist goes through to get to a finished product. Woodland Indian Journey is more about the process of 2 people developing together. There are 2 artists. One is a watercolor artist and one is an acrylic artist. One is more abstract and one does more portraiture. And they sort of grow and develop together. So as you go through the exhibit, you see how both of them try each other's styles on. It's very unique. And then the last exhibit is Handcrafted, and that's our juried art show. We do this every spring. This year's juror is, again, another local artist. Her name's Misuk Kerr, and she's a professor at ECU. The winner of the Handcrafted show this year was also a North Carolina artist from Barton College named Susan Vecco.
Wow, that's interesting. And you know, the really interesting part is that you mentioned they're all from North Carolina.
Yes.
In your opinion, what does that say about our state?
I think that says that we have an enormous amount of talent in our state and an enormous amount of diversity within that talent. So just within this show, you see woodworking, you see painting, you see metal work, you see fiber work, you see mixed media. Just in the shows we have on display now, we cover all the basis of what fine arts is supposed to be.
Wow, that is good. Now, you mentioned a juried artist.
Yes.
How does that jurying process work?
So the jurying process works that we put out a call for entries around the nation, and artists from around the nation submit their entries, and a juror that we select, Misuk Kerr, received the blind copies of those submissions. So no names, no locations were associated with the images. She picked them solely on the photos that were given with the submissions. And then she selects the pieces that will get into the show, and then once the show is up, she comes and visits the exhibit and selects the winners.
Well, I didn't realize it was national, so that is that's really huge.
Yeah, it's a national show.
Okay, and so do you know some of the things that the juror looks at or why these particular pieces were chosen?
In terms of Misuk Kerr's selection, she picked based on craftsmanship, creativity primarily. And so the pieces that are on display show extreme mastery of skill. There are some amazing things on display, glass work that would just blow your mind, metal work, clay, ceramics, and mixed media. It's been a really phenomenal show this year.
And I think this exhibit opened in February, is that correct?
It opened on January 29th.
Okay, so I was close.
Yeah, you're very close.
What has the feedback been like for folks who visited this exhibit?
We've had phenomenal feedback this year. We had one of our largest opening receptions that we've ever had at the Arts Center this year, probably due to the fact that we had music and refreshments also. But we also had a lot of, like I said, North Carolina artists. So we had a lot of family, a lot of friends coming to visit. And also, we've gotten a lot of feedback from folks who want to purchase art. We don't usually have a lot of gallery sales, and this year we actually have had some sales, which is great for the Arts Center and for the artists.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to mention too is, you know, you and I were talking a little earlier, and I'm skipping around a little bit, but in the room behind us, you've kind of cleared that space a little bit for yoga in the galleries.
Yes.
I think this is really cool. Tell me about that.
So Yoga in the Gallery started in October of last year, and it's been hugely successful from the get-go. We now have to sort of curate our exhibits around Yoga in the Galleries, which is a beautiful thing. We host this series of events, or this series of classes, just about every Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30. It's perfect for professionals after work. It's perfect for working people. It's perfect for busy moms to take a little break from the kids. And it's right here in the art gallery. And so when the yoga instructor says to balance and you need to focus on something, we have beautiful works of art for you to focus on.
Tracy and I were talking a little earlier, and she said she loves yoga. For people who have never experienced yoga like myself, what can you tell them? Is it difficult to do?
It is at first, but that's because you're stretching muscles and balancing your body in ways that aren't natural but are very good for your body. And the great thing about our yoga instructor is that she moderates the class to your experience level. So if this is the first time you've ever done yoga, she's very careful to let you know how you can modify your body movements to make it easier for you, so that you can build up to some of the more experienced pose. Or if you're, you maybe have lower back issues, knee problems, stretching issues, something that part of your body that bothers you, she also modifies those yoga poses so that your body doesn't hurt when you're in those poses.
And what's the cost?
The cost is, it depends on the whole series, but you can also walk in if you want to just give it a try one time. You can walk in for $5.
Okay, and you said it starts again when?
It starts at 5:30.
And it extends until?
June 29th.
Okay, and then I guess there'll be a break and then you'll start it up again?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So really interesting. And once again, just tell me, what do you think, what do you want people to walk away with you know, after they see the exhibits, even after they come to yoga?
Yeah. Well, whenever they come to the exhibits, what I really hope they walk away with is a diverse experience. I really go out of my way to find exhibits that appeal to anyone, no matter what your interests are. I would love for visitors to come and not realize that they thought something was so interesting. Or, you know, in particular, the woodworking exhibit that we're standing in. You know, there's furniture on display here. You know, furniture is a work of art, and I would love people to walk away with an understanding that just the furniture in your home can be something to take pride in and be considered as a work of art. As for yoga in the galleries, I love the diversity of people that we get through our doors for yoga. People who might never come to the Art Center because it doesn't interest them, encounter art and find that it's beautiful, there's things going on here, and I hear comments all the time that people say, oh, my sister would love this, I'll have to come back here this weekend and show my sister, or show my brother, or show my husband.
Wow.
So I hope people have a great experience when they visit us, no matter how they visit us or when, and I hope they'll come again.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Allison. Anything we missed or that you want to add?
Well, our hours for operation are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays from 1 to 5. So come anytime. The Art Center is always free to participate. We also have First Fridays in March, April, and May of this year, and that again is a free event. And then we'll start up Downtown Lives. And this summer we'll be doing a Beat the Heat sort of activity, where if you want to take a break from the heat outside, we'll have exhibits on display in the Art Center that are music related, and you can take a little break from the heat and enjoy the Art Center as well. So I hope people, no matter how they come to the Art Center, just have a great time when they're here.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. And let me add as well that if you want more information, you can also visit the website at imperialcenter.org. Thanks, Allison, for joining us on this. This is like your third time for joining us on City Beat.
I love being on City Beat.
Thank you. We'll be back.
Okay,
all
great.
Right. Thank you for tuning in as well, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to speak with Tracy Grosner on some of the spring arts education programming in our arts education building. This is City Beat.
Do you know how many children play in teams in the Twin Counties? Well, 2,500 kids are learning to be good sports in athletic leagues all across Nash and Edgecombe.
Hello and welcome back to City Beat. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and if you're just tuning into the show today, we are having such an exciting show with the Imperial Center for the Arts and Sciences. We spoke with Lee White a little earlier about the latest exhibit in the Children's Museum called Backyard Adventures, and we spoke with Allison Wedrick about new arts exhibits in the Arts Center. And now we've stepped outside into the Arts Education Building to talk about our arts programming here. And joining me today is Tracy Grosner. Did I get that correct?
Yes, you did.
I got it correct. Tracy is new here at the Imperial Center. I think you said you've been here for about 6 months, right?
Yes, I have.
Well, welcome.
Thank you
A late
so much.
welcome, but welcome. Her very first time on City Beat today, so thank you for joining us. Where are you from, Tracy?
I'm originally from Connecticut, but I moved to the Raleigh area from New York City just in July.
Wow. Well, welcome to Rocky Mount. And tell me a little bit about what your job entails here as Arts Education Manager.
Sure. So what I do here is I put together all the arts-related programming for our public, which can be anything from painting, drawing, ceramics, but also really involves a cross-collaboration with my colleagues in the Children's Museum, Art Gallery, as well as the theater.
Wow, so collaborative environment here at the Imperial Center. Now, this is my first time in this particular studio. Tell me a little bit about this studio, and then there's an interesting young lady behind us, what she's doing as well. Yeah.
So we are standing in the clay studio right now, which has had a major transformation since I started. And our open clay member, Carla, is behind us working on some projects. We have wonderful workshops and classes here, but we also have an open studio membership where individuals that have experience working with clay and ceramics can come and independently use the studio space, fire their pieces, glaze, and then continue working on their own.
Yeah, and I see some pieces back here as well that look really, really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, you have come up with I guess it was you came up with this great theme, Spring into Creativity, for your programming. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
Well, you know, it's always fun to play with words when it comes to putting programming out there, but we really were excited about all the possibilities that we could put forward in the spring. Family programs, adult workshops, classes. We want people to feel really welcome when they walk in the arts education building doors into every studio. We also wanted to have people feel that they can try things, they can discover things, no experience necessary. So if anyone had that kind of feeling, I want to try this, let's just jump in, feet first or head first, whichever one you would like, and experiment.
That sounds good, and I think it takes the intimidation factor out of it too, because I've always wanted to paint. I just took a look at your paint studio as well. I was like, oh, I'd like to try that. But tell me about some of those events that you all have offered and are offering up until May, I believe, right?
Yes, so our calendar for spring really started and kicked off in late January with some open house events here in the building, just opening all the studio doors, having some demonstrations, some activities for people of all ages, as well as an open clay studio event where people that were specifically interested in clay could come in and see what we were doing here and possibly register for workshops or our membership program. We have a great number of family workshops coming up that take place on Saturdays, generally from about 1 to 4. And we also have continuous 6-week classes, 2-day adult workshops, all throughout until May. So we had, for our first session, we had demonstrations on the wheel, on the clay wheel, that we have some behind us. We had some sketching activities where we were looking at still life and we were looking at line and shape and contour and composition with students and adults. And we also had one of our teaching artists come in and do a comic book illustration demo. So that was really exciting with some brushes and ink work.
That does sound exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. What about the age groups for these events?
So another way that we really tried to open up all of our classes and workshops was to put a minimum age. So when people are interested in looking at different class descriptions, you'll see, for example, our family workshops start at ages 6+. So they're really for everyone. We want to encourage parents, students, individuals, grandparents, anyone who wants to come in and try something new to do that. So there's really never a cap, an age cap. It's for everybody.
And I think it's a good outlet for parents and their kids to come together too. I really think that would be good. I can't wait till my son is old enough to enjoy. He's two now. Almost. So yeah, I can't wait till he's old. He would come in here and have a good time, but yeah, we're gonna wait a little later. How are you feeling, Tracy, about how things are going with your spring programming so far?
Oh, I think everything is really just very exciting. We have a whole new range of classes. Since I started here in August, we've been piloting and really experimenting with different class content, topics, themes, instructors. So everything is brand new, and just seeing our audiences and our participants come in and engage with our instructors, really find a comfort level and excitement with the content and the creation process, and just making art is just beyond what I could have expected. And you know, it's going to continue. We're going to continue this idea of experimenting, bringing things back that might have been popular, but then also kind of jumping off the deep end and really introducing our audiences to new ideas.
That sounds very interesting. And where can folks go to get more information on all of your events?
Oh, sure. So the Imperial Center has a really wonderful new website that launched this year, and it's imperialcenter.org. There's a program tab, an Art Center tab, excuse me, and all of our programs and events are listed under there. They can also feel free to call us or email us as well.
Right. And that number, of course, is 252-972-1266. Anything else, Tracy, that you'd love to add?
I just wanted to say that I'm so excited to be here, and it's been a wonderful moment so far, and I can't wait to meet more of our community and really engage them in all things art.
All right. Well, welcome, like I said, to Rocky Mount. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm sure you'll be on additional episodes of City Beat. And thank you for joining us as well for another edition of City Beat. So many great things, as you can see, happening at the Imperial Center. Not only our spring programming and our exhibits, but also events. First Friday is happening up until May 5th, every first Friday until May 5th with free admission. And Downtown Live starts in our courtyard on May 11th. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman.